Automatic, Addison.
In this tutorial, we will explore how to implement fallback strategies for motion planning using the MoveIt Task Constructor. We'll create an application from scratch that shows how to plan movements for a robotic arm using multiple planning methods, falling back to more complex methods if simpler ones fail. The output of your application will look like this. On a high level, your program will demonstrate a robust motion planning approach. First, we define a target pose for the arm. Then we'll set up 3 different initial stages using an alternatives container. The task will try to reach that target pose from each of these initial states one at a time. Then for each initial state, the task will then try to plan a path to the target pose using the fallbacks container, which contains 3 different planners. The task will try these planners in order until one succeeds. First one is the Cartesian path planning. This one has the lowest computational requirements and is best for straight line paths with no obstacles. Then we'll do pills planning. Moderate computational requirements and inherently considers obstacles. Then finally, we'll use OMPL planning. Has high computational requirements and it's best for complex paths with many obstacles. The task uses a first success approach. As soon as it finds a valid plan from the initial state to the target pose, regardless of which planning method succeeded, it considers the planning complete and successful. The planner then moves on to generate a plan for the next initial state. The code you will develop in this tutorial can serve as a template for various practical applications. Pick and place operations in various environments, collaborative robot tasks, and flexible manufacturing. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a solid understanding of how to implement fallback strategies in your motion planning task, making your robotic applications more robust and adaptable to different scenarios. Okay, now let's create the code. So we open a terminal window and move to the ROS2 workspace. So go to the MyCobot ROS2, MyCobot MTC Demos source folder. Okay, and then we're going to do get it fallbacks. So this is the code. You can find it on my GitHub. Make sure this is in here. Make sure you add it. Okay, and let's open up a new terminal window. Okay, now it's time to build the code. Source the bash RC. Now it's time to launch everything. MTC_demos fallbacks_move_2. Let it come up. Here's what you should see. Now, when running this demo, you'll see a panel labeled Motion Planning Tasks right here. The panel shows the structure of each task. Let's take a look at the task tree here. At the top level is motion planning tasks. Under this, you'll find fallback strategies in Move To. This is our main task. And the main task has two primary branches, initial states and move to other side. The initial states branch right here represents the three different starting positions we defined in our code. We've got a 90-degree offset from the target goal. We've got a situation where we start with directly reachable, okay, without collision. And then we've got getting to target requires collision avoidance. So three different initial states here. And each of these has a green check mark indicating that all three states were successfully processed. Right here, it's 1, 2, 3. Now we've got the move to other side branch. This is where our fallback strategies are implemented, right here. And here you'll see our three planning methods. We've got Cartesian path, Pills path, and OMPL. Now in this example shown, you can see the Cartesian, we have got 0 green checks. We've got 3 red X's. This means that the Cartesian path planner failed for all attempts. 0 successful solutions. The Pills path planner, right there, the Pills planner succeeded for 3 out of the 3 initial states. So we've got 3 successful solutions. 1, 2, 3. You can see right there. And let's expand that out. Now we've got the OMPL, and you can see OMPL was successful for none of the cases. So this demonstrates how our fallback strategy works. When simpler methods fail, we progressively try more complex planners until we find a solution. So we started with the simplest Cartesian. That didn't work, so then we went to Pills. Now the time column right here shows the planning time for each component. You can see here. The entire task took about 0.1522 seconds. You can see most of that time, actually, if we look at the timestamp right here, was spent on the move to other side stage, which is expected as this is where the actual path planning around an obstacle occurs. The Pills planner took 0.0057 seconds for its successful plans. OMPL was 0. So the timing details can help you optimize your planning strategy, balancing between faster, simpler planners and more robust, but slower ones. So just so you know, when it comes to robot motion planning, one size doesn't fit all. And that's why we implemented a fallback strategy. Let's break down what we did here and learn a little bit about what we did. So we used 3 different motion planners: Cartesian, Pills, and OMPL. So Cartesian's the speedster of the bunch. It's simple, it's lightning fast, it plans a straight line pass in Cartesian space, doesn't care about obstacles. That's Cartesian path. Then we've got the Pills, which is kind of the middle ground option between the Cartesian and OMPL. It's moderately complex. It specializes in point-to-point motion. So over here you can see P to P, that means point to point. And it considers obstacles but isn't great at planning around them like OMPL is. Now OMPL we have down here, this is, by the way, OMPL, Open Motion Planning Library. That's what that means. This is the heavy lifter of the bunch. It's complex, it's computationally intensive, it uses sampling-based algorithms. We used RRT Connect, and it excels at finding paths in complex obstacle-ridden environments. And so we set up 3 challenges here, okay, where we were 90-degree offset from the target goal, where we were directly reachable to the goal without collision, and then getting to the target requires collision avoidance. So the goal in all of this is to see how our planners performed in each case. So don't worry if your output is slightly different from what it looks like here. It's no problem at all. Why do you think we got total failure for the Cartesian piece? Well, the Cartesian planner is a bad performer because it's all about straight lines. And in the obstacle scenario, it would have plowed right through the box. So even in the easier scenarios, if the straight path intersected with the robot's own body, it's pretty much game over. Pills is pretty good. Pills is pretty good, 3 out of 3. Pills planner did very well with the 90-degree offset, directly reachable, and the final one, collision avoidance. And you could also have a look at the different logs to kind of see what's going on. And MoveIt really loads the logs. So that's in MoveIt Task Constructor. So it's really good. You can come in here and see what's going on. And often if pills fails, so you might see 2 and 1 for pills, OMPL will come in handy. OMPL, it's really good for complicated situations. It comes in the clutch. When the others get stumped like Cartesian pills, OMPL usually gets it right. So it's a sampling-based approach. So this experiment demonstrates why fallback strategies in motion planning are important for efficiency, robustness, and adaptability. And by structuring our whole pipeline, this way for planning, we get the best of all worlds: speed when possible, the ability to tackle complex situations when needed. And it's this kind of adaptability that takes robotic systems from laboratory curiosities to real-world problem solvers. Okay, let's do a detailed code walkthrough. So I'm going to go over to the code. You can see at the top, the code begins with a comprehensive comment block outlining the file's purpose. Okay, demonstrating the motion planning with different fallback strategies here using the MoveIt Task Constructor. We describe the program's functionality, which creates a movement for a robotic arm using 3 different planning methods: Cartesian pills and open motion planning library path. The file includes all the necessary headers for ROS2, MoveIt, and the Task Constructor library. This establishes the foundation for our robot motion planning tasks. So all the logic is contained here in the main function. And we'll break it down into its key concepts. We've got ROS2 initialization right here. Okay, and we initialize it here. We've got our node named fallbacks move2 demo. So we set up the node options and parameters for the OMPL and pills planners. Creating a logger right here for informational output. So this setup ensures proper communication within the ROS2 system. Here's where we create our task object, and the robot model is loaded. And we verify right here on this line 85 that the correct model is loaded for the robot. This step is important for accurate motion planning based on the specific robot's characteristics. Now here is where we set up 3 different planners: Cartesian planner, pills, and OMPL. Then we define our target state for all task plans, and we set specific joint angles for the link 1 to link 2 joint, which you'll find in the URDF for the robot. This establishes the goal configuration for the robotic arm. We've got our initial state set up right here. It's an alternatives container. You don't need to know the specifics of that. You can look it up, alternatives container. It's created to hold 3 different initial states that we discussed previously: 90-degree offset from the target goal, directly reachable to the goal without collision, and getting to target requires collision avoidance. Okay, avoiding that box obstacle that we had, that green box obstacle. So this variety of initial states allows the planner to demonstrate its versatility in different scenarios. Okay, so here it is. Here's the whole meat where we create the different planners. Here's where we recreate the collision object, right there, that box right in here. Okay, here's where we create the fallback container, right there. We add everything to the fallbacks container. And then down here is where we have a separate thread for spinning the ROS2 node. This allows the program to handle callbacks and events while performing its main tasks. So that's the whole code in a nutshell. Feel free to go through it, stick it in your favorite LLM if you want to get more detail, but I've added tons of comments so you know what's going on. So you'll be able to use this in your own work, mix and match, adapt it for whatever work you do. That's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching and keep building.